All right, let's go. So we are still implementing a boss here, first boss, and I was in the middle of changing something here with the faces. Yeah, that's right. So the idea is we have basically two phases. The first phase we have like the boss is stationary, the second phase is flying. However, the way I actually had this organized before is like the first phase is actually like a loop. You go through three sub phases, you could say. And I was thinking, oh, we do that 2 times and then we go into flying phase. But I've actually sort of changed that around now so that you go through the phase first, or you loop through the first phase however many times you have to, it doesn't matter really, until you deal enough damage so that you trigger the next phase. Because it doesn't matter which sort of sub phase you're in, you can always deal enough damage to cause the second phase to actually happen. So that's how I'm thinking. So I've changed things around a little bit, and let's see. So this is phase 2 now. And what else? Activate. No field name activate. No, active. It's called active. That's right. And you want health and time. Yeah. Oh, I need to get health. Okay. Right, so yeah, so basically this is like looping through the phase. So advanced phase. So if our current phase is active, we go to the regenerating phase. If our phase is regenerating, we go to the stun phase and then back to active. So it's basically what goes around and around until we hit a point where we should move to the next phase. I mean, I'm calling these phases. These are basically sub phases, I guess. And let's see. We have all these update functions. They should still be all valid, I think. And let's see. So what we will do is we will say, here's the update function. So basically the update function only has these specific phases. However, if we are on phase 1, we should also say a generic update phase 1. I guess we can bring that in. I guess we can move this in here. Phase 1. Yeah, this is phase 1. Oh yeah, and time. So self registry boss entity phase 1 and T. There we go. And then we have flying, which we don't have. We don't really have an update yet for that. We haven't started on that. So I think the last thing here is to switch to phase 2 if. So let's do if phase 1 wait. No, this doesn't make sense. Where did I put this thing? Next phase at. Right, we have hits to phase 2. So I guess we just. Well, we can have a function should activate phase 2. Health is less than or equal to. Wait, no, that's like max health. All right. If should activate health 2, then we do that. And yeah. I guess we will have a sort of pre-phase here. We could have like multiple phases. Like one phase is when the player gets like pushed again, maybe, and the boss. Well, we'll see. Yeah, I think the player has to be pushed, and the environment is gonna get destroyed, and then the boss is gonna start flying around. Is the idea. So update phase 1, and then let's also have like update phase 2. Yeah. All right. Should activate phase 2. let's just see if it works. We also have a couple of tweaks I want to do with phase 1. And also, you know, everything here could change. It's like, yeah, we have more challenging getting up here, more challenge going up. What else? Telegraph. So the way you hit the boss. I've thought about a couple of ways to actually make it more challenging to go actually hit the boss, and not just feel like you're standing there and spamming. So one way would be to have the boss be sort of move. So have the boss be have like a vulnerable spot that that moves around. So yeah, you would. Whoa. Okay, I'm gonna guess that is when we move to phase 2. That's why it crashed, perhaps, probably. Oh. Oh, right. Regenerating. Okay, we never check if the length is more than 1. So if the length is equal to if the length is 0, then we don't do anything. We can simply return, I guess. We could also do this and check length here, but I'll add this in the nested here. There we go. All right. I think that was the issue. Like, we ran out of mobs to consume, and the boss, and it crashed. But yeah, as I was saying, so I figure I thought about 2 different ways to sort of fix this issue here, where it doesn't feel like you're just standing here and just spamming the button. So one way would be to have the boss have a vulnerable spot that you have to sort of chase around. Another way would be to have the boss sort of retaliate when you get close, like it has some sort of melee attack that you have to sort of dodge. You have to run away to dodge. I'm not sure what will... I'm gonna guess the vulnerability one is gonna feel better, because I don't know, it just feels like it feels better to chase something and try to hit it than to avoid an attack. I don't know. Right, so we're testing now. The whole mechanic here is looping until we deal enough damage here. Alright, now we should soon be entering the next phase. Yeah, okay, then there it entered the next phase. Okay, which we haven't done anything with. Okay. Right. Hey yo, abbreviated. How's it going? Let's see. Oh yeah, I have my Twitch chat from before here. Yeah, the boss could be invulnerable occasionally. Yeah. Yeah, that's also something that you could do, like, because it's also nice, the feeling of now's your opportunity to just mash the boss. Like, I like that kind of feeling. So that I like that idea actually, but yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's a nice talent. If you can have the best ideas, then you can make the best games, right? Yeah. Okay, so yeah, and so that's one thing. And then another thing is making it more challenging getting up to the machine up there. Like right now it's just, you know, jumping up, grabbing that. What I was thinking is something falling from the ceiling or something like that. Oh, what are these ones? Yeah, these ones are basically because SIG enforces you to, like, if we remove these, since these SIG, it's like the SIG compiler is complaining because these are not used. So that's actually a compiler error. So you have to fix it before you can move along. And there's even, like, in the LSP, there's an auto fix to do that. But then these becomes like warnings, so that you don't forget about it. But what you can also do is temporarily, like I used to do this when I just temporarily want to do this, because I know I'm gonna use them later. But if there's a parameter that's actually not used, you can do this as well. And then you get rid of both the warnings and the compiler error. So now there's no warnings. Well, this is from another thing, but then it's like, okay, then you can just remove it. However, it could be like you have a function that you pass into something that where the function has to look in a certain way, but you might not use everything. So that's where it can be useful. But I think it's nice because it makes it so that you have to take care of it, you know. Yeah. I mean, it's a little bit annoying, but when you find a workflow for it, then it's nice, actually. Also, what I wanted to do is kind of taking these concepts that we have for the boss and make them sort of more generic. Like right now, there's a lot of imperative code going on right now that just, you know, does stuff in a very specific way. And I feel like I want to sort of generalize some of these concepts. Like you have these timers, you have oh yeah, reset. Wait. Oh yeah, this one I didn't even think about this one actually. The reset thing. So yeah, when you're supposed to go out to the machine, there's a timer also, so you don't have all day to do it. And when the timer is up, it resets back to the first active phase is the idea there. Yeah, I have to do that as well. But how was the question? Let's see, where's the advanced phase thing? So it goes from here to there, which pushes this. This kind of assumes that you went in here by stunning the boss. But what we could actually do is we could add a reason to why we advanced the phase. So we can add a reason here, which could be some sort of, well, is it gonna be specific? I guess we could put it into the regenerating phase, like we get the phase out and we populate the reason in there. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So end reason. Well, let's just make an enum. Stun. So stun, or I'm gonna say boulder hit or time up. Okay. And so we push the mover anyway. I think if the time was up, we're gonna, I think what we'll do is we'll just remove the boulder. Yeah, the boulder should be like destroyed in that case. It doesn't really make sense from a, you know, logical standpoint, but from a gameplay standpoint it makes sense. If the reason was time up, then we have to destroy boulder. I'm just gonna let's put reason in here. Now this is, can I do that? Okay, let's just put this in thing and reason. All right. No, wait, this is the initial. Oh, okay, yeah, so no, forget about all that. Well, I guess we can still have it this like that, but the reason, the end reason should be normally, well, I guess it doesn't matter. We can choose time up for the reason for now, and if the boulder hits, which is thus over here, we will say before we advance the phase that the phase, we know the phase should be regenerating, and the reason is now boulder hits. There we go, and then we advance the phase, and then we go in here and we check, okay, the end reason was time up, then we do some stuff. Otherwise, okay, so this one we should do anyway. And then we destroy the boulder. So do we actually, how do we get the boulder though? I guess there's always only one boulder, so we can actually have the boulder here. When we spawn it, hang on. Where do we kill the boulder? Here we go. Okay. Oh yeah, forest boss boulder. Snow. Okay. And when we spawn the boulder, we set it there. To boulder, there we go. All right. So we keep that entity around. And then, where is it? Here. Now we can say, we can destroy it. And we can also set it to null. All right. Then it should just disappear. We also don't want to set this to phase 1 stunned. We should say if the reason was that the boulder hit, we want to do this. Otherwise, we want to set this to active instead. Active. Yeah. But then we still need health, so let's just get health over here. All right. And we can move that down there. All right. So if the boulder hit, we get stunned, or the boss is stunned. If the boulder didn't hit, but the time was up instead, we go back directly to active. But the issue with this is that, well, I think we need another state actually, which is like a bit in between here, because the player needs to be moved away again and put into, like, where's the update stun? So what's happening in here is we're pushing the player until we hit the area that the player should be, and then we're sort of flip-flopping the doors. So we have to do this as well, but the difference is that the boss is now not stunned. I guess we could put the boss to stunned, but we add a flag here. I guess we can modify stun and set. I guess, maybe, yeah. I mean, yeah, why not? So we don't go back to active, we go to stun, but the stun is like very small or something. Okay, where is that? And reason. So we do go to stunned. So we need to have it over here so we can modify it. So we'll say that this is t or 0, it doesn't really matter. And then we could also make a whole nother face, but right now we probably want to make a variation at least, if we want to have like the correct animation and stuff. But right now we don't really worry about animations, so I'm just gonna do it like this for now. Let's see, and then we can just say here, stand face. There we go. So now we should still do that whole sequence, but the boss is not gonna get, it's not gonna be stunned for that long. Okay. Oh yeah. I guess if we have a boulder, we mark it. And you need T. Okay. All right, so let's try that now. The first phase is when the boss is active, so we hit it a bunch of times. Then it goes into regenerate phase. And then you have the opportunity to drop a boulder, but the timer could also go. The timer. Oh, my controller. So we hit him a bunch of times. Oh, and I died. Oops. It's kind of hard sometimes to see where this projectile spawned when you have a bunch of enemies there. Okay, there we go. So now it's in regenerate phase. It's slowly consuming the monsters to regain health. But now it doesn't have any monsters left, but there's also like a timer. So when the time is up, I'm gonna also test going up here. There should be a timer at least. Or maybe not. Maybe I messed it up. Right, so now he's stunned. Okay. Well, that didn't work. Oh, I see. We don't do anything. That might explain the issue. Okay. Yeah, I think here we just advance the phase, I think. So we could set the end reason. Time is up. Just to make things... Wait, we don't have self here? Oh yeah, we need self. Like this, okay. Just to make things a little bit more like robust there. Okay, so we advance the phase. Right. Let's try that again. And I also thought about like the room feels a little bit cramped, so with all the machinery, that it's gonna change when you get to the phase 2. But Yeah, I don't know. I thought about like zooming out as well. Like when there's a boss, you zoom out and you get a little bit more room to move around and do stuff in. Okay, so there you can see we went straight back to active phase because the timer was up. It could also be sort of like, let's move it, the boulder over here. Like there's a little bit of a puzzle with the boulder. Like you get more complicated each time. Each time you succeed, maybe it gets more complicated. I don't know. Because right now it's super easy. Oh, that didn't work. Okay. It didn't cancel out of the thing. Huh. Okay. That's... Oh, it might be because the timer was up too early, maybe. If the timer's up, we just advance the phase. Wait, but that... the player has to have exited, though. Which happens here. Or here, I mean. It happens here. And then we flip-flop, we cancel the control as well. Where's that happening? Oh, maybe that happens in the boulder thing. Where's the boulder thing? Here. Okay. So we should have like cancel control right here. This part needs to be done in both places. Cancel steering wheel control. There we go. And then we also do that over here. There's a lot of very specific, like in the boss fight, there's a lot of very specific logic that's happening. I'm trying to see, you know, how we can sort of generalize some of these concepts. I can see some like spawning projectiles, spawning enemies, different phases. I mean, it's sort of built into the language. Yeah, there we go. We're active again. All right. Yeah. So it all works out. Okay. Also, maybe when it's stunned, maybe you should take like double damage or something, so you feel like you're doing like a lot of damage or something like that. So you get really rewarded by actually completing the stun. Man, I never thought about how many of these like small details could make up like a boss fight. Like there's so much going on. Yeah, when he's stunned, it could get like double damage. We could maybe, if we get the health component, when entering the stun thing, we could set like damage scale, something like that. I mean, it could be a separate component as well, but it feels, you know, relevant to put it in the health component, though. Yeah. So we could set the scale to be 2. And then, or even 3, I don't know. And then we get a couple of hits in, and then it's done. I guess I think you get like 5 hits in, but we'll double this now because of the stun. Yeah, the max hits 5, but we're also gonna get like damage scale is 2, so I'm gonna times this by the damage, or actually let's keep that there. Max hits, so self health when phase started minus health, that's the delta there, is more than or equal, so this is how much health you've lost. So let's up that by damage scale. There we go. And then this should be set to stunned damage scale. And then when we move out of stunned, we set it back to 1. All right. Right. So how would we, right, because damage, we don't really have floating points. So how would we do this? Do we round it down or up? I think we round it up, right? Because otherwise you could get like 0 damage, or we could just minimize it to 0 to 1. Let's do ceiling, and we do as F32 float from int. Yeah, let's just do that and we'll be happy with it. No, int from float. Yeah, maybe we should increase it even more, just to get the feeling that you're actually doing a lot of damage while doing that. I don't know. But the boulder itself is still doing a lot of damage. You go in and stun. You do double damage. And boom, we're flying. Okay. Now I have no idea what to do with the flying, because yeah, I think for flying, it feels like you also want to be able to stun and deal more damage as well. Like it's flying around, maybe once in a while gets stunned as you have dealt a bunch of damage, and flies down to the ground. You get a couple of hits in with more damage, like scale damage. Yeah, just so it doesn't feel like a slug, because yeah, there was a lot of, it feels it feels bad when the hit points go down so slow, but then it feels nice when you get a lot of chunks out of that health bar. Okay. I know you could do some effects on the health bar itself, like when you're dealing double damage, it's gonna shake a little bit, or yeah, it's gonna, you're gonna feel sort of the impact of the thing. Okay, so let's see. What else? So I'm thinking, basically, for phase 1, I have 2 gripes left that I want to fix. And it's the during regeneration, when you're trying to steer the boulder, like it's too easy to just steer the boulder over. And the other thing is that you just feel like you're standing and smashing, and nothing's really interesting is happening while in the active phase. It could also be that once in a while boulders actually just fall from the sky, and you just use that thing to deal extra damage and stun. So you get that you always like smash the button and attack him, and then suddenly a boulder drops, so you get the opportunity to go up and try and stun, like deal extra damage while he's like stationary. And then you get stunned, you get to deal extra damage, and also not get hit by anything else, and then it goes back. So instead of doing this push and regenerating phase, it could just be something that happens like once in a while. You get a boulder, you can activate it. Instead of it being a whole sequence, you actually just, we don't even have the doors there. We can just have this wheel always like available, and once a boulder has been but there's really no, what I'm annoyed about is that there's really no skill to moving the boulder over. It's just, and that's what I wanted to fix. Like, I was thinking maybe we'll have either boulders smaller boulders, like flying down, like going down over here, so that you have to dodge them before reaching the thing. And if they hit you, you're gonna be sort of cancelled out of the steering wheel part. And then yeah, you have to sort of maybe even this goes back. Oh yeah, it could be that this mover actually is like on a chain or something, or a spring, I don't know. And if you let go, it's gonna, like, you know, spring back. It could be something like that to make it sort of adding challenge to this part here. Oh, and I realized maybe we should have like a maximum maximum allowed monster spawns. Wow. Oh, what happened there? Did we reach did we reach like a limit for destroy and touch? We could have reached a limit for like invalidating pointers. I'm not sure actually. Destroy and touch. Oh, that's curious. Check ground collision. Right. So here we're dealing with some, okay. Yeah, it could be some invalidation happening. So in the physics update, we're saving. Okay. Game update. Right. So here, collision events are created. We're storing pointers to the rigid bodies. The physics state. We're storing pointers to that. But then we're doing a bunch of updates, and somewhere along here we're doing a boss update. Here we're actually spawning, or I mean we have the spawn system, here we're spawning a bunch of stuff. So at this point, those events are actually could be like invalidated. So where are we actually doing this? We're doing it in destroy on touch, which has check ground collision. And then we have update. Well, this checks on this guy, which is, well, this doesn't feel, oh wait, no, but okay, when those are in, yeah, you can see here, you can it says here with big letters as well, rigid body pointers are invalidated because we needed to remap, because since we hit a limit, so we needed to remap the allocation to a new place, and they are invalidated. And so next thing that happens is a seg fault. So it makes sense. This part actually didn't work. I'm not sure if it's because of the view is created here. No, it's created like dynamically here. So, but it's also like if the rigid pointers are invalidated, then the physics system it has to update the pointers in the ECS. So no, that's not it. No, it's in the add. Yeah. Yeah, this one. So if the pointers are invalidated, we go in here. We go through all entities that has rigid bodies. We get the body for some reason. The ID. Oh, that's right. We update the rigid body points. That's right, because the the rigid body itself is a pointer. Right, so the rigid body pointer itself shouldn't be an issue. It's the pointers inside the rigid body that's the issue. Because the pointer to the rigid body is actually in the ECS system. That's right. I think. Yeah. That should be it. But then in here is the like they have pointers into the vectors that are in the physics system. That's right. And so what's happening here is we set all these pointers on the rigid body to the new locations where they should be. But somehow something goes wrong anyway after this point, and I'm not sure why. Destroy on touch. That has to be the projectile, I think. And there's something happening in here then that we're checking. Maybe it's the intersections. Right, it's not the pointer to rigid body that's invalidated. It's the pointers that the rigid body has that's are invalidated. But it should all be updated. But it is a major clue, you know, that right after they are invalidated, something bad happens. So it's like the spawn system is happening. Spawn system happens, and shortly after this happens. And then it fails, right? And yeah, it looks like it's only showing like the call to the somewhere in this call it goes wrong, I think. I mean, maybe this is where it goes wrong. Maybe you can't store the entity like this over long periods of time. I don't know. This, because the key here, this is the entity. But in ECS, the entity could have like different... Actually, this is the ID, that's right. I think this is only the ID. If we go to back here and we go to add rigid body, the key is set to what? Yeah, it's set to the entity ID. So, and I'm not sure how to get back the original thing, like there's identifier without the version. I'm not sure if you actually need the version to actually check for those things. But it's also strange because it feels like that shouldn't be the issue though, because it's the rigid body, it's the contents in here that's invalidated, not the entities. Oh hey, Christoph, thank you for the raid. Welcome. About some viewers that might help you with your UB issue. Which was that? UB... What does that mean? Yeah, sorry, my brain is wrecked from this undefined behavior. Oh yeah, thanks. Yeah. I mean, we are kind of in the peculiars of sort of like my own game engine here. So I mean, I'm not sure. Like, I'm actually not sure what's happening. There's something going on here, in here, that gets a seg fault. It could be this part, but I'm not sure. That is, yeah. Although, shouldn't it have shown then that it's in this function where the error is happening? Yeah. Yeah. So this is probably gonna be a problem that's gonna, you know, it's gonna keep happening once the pointers are invalidated here. I mean, it has to do something with this. It has to be something with this. Okay, so if I just go through and explain a little bit, because everybody joined just now. In the physics engine that I have here, we have a body. This is sort of the here is the physics state, and then we have in here we have a bunch of vectors, yeah, but they are actually pointers to another list. So they are pointers into the physics array, you can say. So each one of these, this is a position, velocity, acceleration, and so forth. They are all like pointers into that vector. But once you add more entities or more bodies, then that vector is going to be too large for the allocation, so we need to reallocate, or yeah, so the pointers, these pointers get invalidated. But then I have this update thing, so we are checking if they're invalidated. If they are invalidated, we log that out here, and we update the pointers. So I'm using Zig ECS, and so I'm looping through all the entities that have physics bodies here, and then I'm updating all the pointers there. And I've tested this, and it has worked like before. So I'm not sure if this is actually the issue right now. And so at this point, we're simply setting all these pointers vectors to the new pointers here. Yeah, there's a lot of hoops and stuff here, but yeah, that's what's happening with that. The reason I'm looking into this is because right after this message we get a seg fault, so that's why I'm looking at this. But then we're in somewhere else. We're in here. This function here. So actually, what maybe you could tell me here, when you have this sort of message here, you get a seg fault, but you don't actually get like I don't know how to read this error message, because it says the error is happening here, right? But then it points to this function. It points over here. So what does that mean? Does it mean the error happened in this function? Which is kind of what I gathered from context clues in other situations. Or what does that mean? Like, because all of these are, this is an allocator, these are pointers. So they're basically just copying the pointers. That shouldn't be an issue, right? Like when calling this function. And this function is just, yeah, a function here. So I'm guessing that somewhere in here is where the actual error is happening. I just have no idea why. It could be in here, probably. Best guess in here. Maybe. But then wouldn't it say that it's in this function where the error is happening? Like, wouldn't that be in the stack frame or the call stack also? Entity 95 already added, right? Oh, that's curious. Why is it adding it more than once? Yeah, this feels like an error that is gonna keep happening, but what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna ignore it for now. Because I know it's only happening when you spawn like an insane amount of things, and I'm gonna put a limit to that anyway, and then I can sort of, I guess I can increase the capacity as well. You can print out the addresses of the arguments to see if they are equal to the segfault address. Alright, yeah. Yeah, that's a good idea. It would be weird if they were. But yeah, let's... I'll do that. So, check ground collision. So could you do... Is it you're using like D then for that? Oops. Star, okay. I know the registry should work, but you could try using the LDB to debug the program. Yeah, I haven't set up a good debugging process in NeoVim yet. I have it in VS Code, but then I have to switch the thing. It was a while since I did that. I could do that if nothing else works. And now I have to wait a bit, but I can speed up the process here a little bit. Let's see. Let's just, where's this spawn time? Let's do like, I don't know. Yeah, I tried to set it up in NeoVim, but to no avail for a bunch of times. Oh wow, it really came to a crawl real fast there. Okay. Okay, so it crashed in another circumstance, I would say. Maybe. No, it's the same. Okay. Interesting. Where is it? Here. Oh, okay, so it's rigid body, right. Well, it's not, well, it is rigid body, but it's like somewhere in the rigid body, yeah. Okay. It does make, it makes sense because, but it also doesn't make sense. Wait, is the rigid body, is the it could be that it's saved somehow outside of the system, like if it's destroyed and then So what I'm gathering is that this body did not get updated. Its pointers did not get updated. You can see here we're still using the same address. It's just that the address over here is where the seg fault happens. I think so anyway. This is like, no wait, this is 2D2. This is 2D1. So that's before 1A2 CD8, 1A2. I mean, it could, I guess it could still be related. So I'm not sure where this is happening actually. Okay, let's see if we get over here. Whoops. I'm guessing it's the intersections that where the issue is happening. But we're not gonna get there. I don't know. Okay, we got there. Alright, so we did get past that. I'm guessing because, I mean, either that or we go through the entire thing. Okay, so there is a point of doing this. Sorry. There's a point of doing that because we know if we get past there. Right, so we didn't... Yeah. So we did get in there. It's at this point where the issue is happening. So I'm guessing... hang on. This makes me wonder, where do we... keep... I mean, this is the register. This is just a... yeah. Maybe it's because we store the view? That feels strange. Okay. Are you making any calls into C? That might be why the stack trace isn't very descriptive. Well, not for this part. I am using Raylib, but not in this case. I mean, this is my experience getting seg faults in Zig. It's like you don't get the full picture. You just get, okay, this is the last function that was called. You don't get exactly where it happened. I don't know if that's just my project, how it's set up. I don't know. Okay, but I think that, okay, you can see here this view. I'm not sure if this is from Zig ECS, so I'm not sure if this actually sort of creates a copy or something. But then the bodies, they should still be the same. No, this should be like a, this should be. Come on. We're initializing self-assure components. This gives you what? A storage. Yeah, so it should be the same instance we're looking at. Now the annoying thing here is the this part is in like is in a separate project, so I have to. I guess what we could do is I could go to here and perhaps do this. How did you add a path like sig builds on add path? No. Dependency, local dependency. Path. I just found this. So let's see, it's gonna be this and then this. Will that work? I'm using 0.14.1. Okay, it seems to work. But yeah, and here's that project. Okay, so collision physics. Whoops. Wait, why is this not a pointer? Well, I guess it doesn't really matter maybe that much, but it kind of goes against a little bit. Yeah, it's been a while since I've been in here. Wait, yeah. So we can add. So we know that. Okay, wait. We know that the issue is actually happening here, but it's some. I think it's something to do with then the creation of this intersections here. So. Oh, wait. Wait a minute. Okay, hang on. Okay, so the physics system works like this. Each frame we build a quad tree. Right. Where is this? Here. So we build a quad tree. Right, update. No. Oh yeah. Oh, this only updates. Oh, that's the rigid body, yeah. Hang on. What does this do? I forget all this stuff. Okay, it just does some stuff. Oh, it's a R3, okay. I don't use that anymore. Update collision with container. Check collision, no. Where is insert body, insert entry? Okay, yeah, that's, I think that's like the dynamic part maybe. Where's the like initial thing? I'm pretty sure each frame I'm rebuilding the entire quad tree. What is the color scheme? No, that's not it. This is. Let me check. 1 second here. No. Where is it? There. And sig. Oh yeah. It's sorry. It's color. I'm not sure how to say it. Here it is. Melange. Yeah. I have like a different color scheme for different languages. I'm using this for Zig. I really like it. Yeah. Yeah, no problem. Okay. Section 100, check collision. Okay, where is the actual thing happening? Let's go here. Let's go to update. Right, so here's the update. Well, that's not update previous accelerations. Update collision. Right, because we're checking each sub-step. And we're over here. Check collisions. Okay, so we're calling this function. This happens every frame. Actually, a bunch of times every frame. Okay. Right, here it is. Populate and intersect. Which is like, okay, so the tree is this type here. So Qt, where is it? The definition here, quad tree, and then we have an entry. The entry is rigid body, so it's not actually a pointer, and that's the issue, I think. Yeah. So we have this quad tree that gets outdated, basically. I have messed around with this before. I think I did have them as pointers at first, and then at some point I changed it to be not pointers for some reason. Yeah. So right. Okay, how much will break if we do this? Wait, hang on. This is a list. Yeah, this is the actual list, so that should be fine. Wait, why? List of pointers. Oh, it's expecting a list of pointers, right? Okay, so maybe we can do this, but we can say we change the tree a little bit. Okay, there was a million years ago when I wrote this here, but so I'm not sure if I'm even marking up the right tree. I'm thinking I missed, because these entries. Well, here it is a pointer though. Well, okay. Pointer, yes. Well, where's that pointer stored is the question. So when we do this populate, we get the entries. This is the source of truth here, right here. So we should, if we want a pointer, we should have the point. We should use this slice. I think. Or maybe not actually. Maybe these should be like pointers inside instead. Because what if the list gets like remapped? Okay, I'm just gonna do this. I'm gonna be super safe here instead. We're gonna do this. We're gonna say over here, we need to copy this thing. Because the pointers can get invalidated. Well, They can be getting validated anyway. So what's the? Well, there's no difference. We should work with IDs instead. But then it, we could do this. Okay, we could say. Yeah, we could do this. Okay, we could do this, but for the collision system. Okay, yeah. So update rigid bodies in collision container. Okay. So we will go through the container tree. Can we iterate entries? That's a pay, right? I'm trying to remember how this worked. Okay, so we have entries. That's in our struct, I think. So we have pages, we have entries. These are just like the boxes. Orphaned entries, we have entry values. I think we can go through entry values. Wait. Okay, it might be the LSP doesn't understand what type it is. Yeah, it thinks it's an R tree. It's actually not. So we'll go through entry values. This is a slice. No, where's the quad tree here? Entry values is a slice of rigid bodies. That's right. Okay. So here's the body. And we need to have it mutable. And then we basically do this. Well, we're gonna get the real body here. From this. No, but we have the ID already. Okay. I mean, we don't really need the entry. Well, yeah. No. No, wait. We need to. Yeah. We need to modify this guy. That's right. Also, I don't think you need to dereference here. You can just say this. Okay. Whoops. Okay. So let's call this. Let's make this. I'm gonna make it public. And I'm gonna go to spawn. After we're done spawning stuff, this is where ideally at okay, so we have the spawn system. So at this point, this is where all the new creatures and stuff gets created. So ideally, after this point, we should like update if anything was invalidated, right? Wait, but we can just do it here. Yeah, we just do it here. Right? I mean, let's just do this. Okay, it would be a miracle if this actually just works. Whoops, that's the wrong. Wait, why was there a crash? This is like the test program and the physics engine here, or the game engine. Okay. Seg faults, update rigid. Okay, we'll just be safe. I don't think that's the issue because they should be the same. Maybe it's this. No. Segfolded address. Okay, let's log question container tree. Let's log this. Well, it's actually well. Can we log this? Right. I want to log that. Yeah, and we can also log body. I guess we can see which one we're getting to. We're gonna get blasted by the log maybe. Okay. 198. Pointers invalidated, seg faults. Oops. So we go in here, we go in the first one and then seg fault, right? E8. So does this mean that we don't have access to this particular address or like the content of that address? I'm guessing it's the first one. Okay. Right, so this is what I don't understand. This slice should still work. I mean, we're creating that slice somewhere here. Entry. Oh. Oh. Okay, I thought we were keeping it here. We're actually not. So this slice can get invalidated. All right, so we're keeping that. Okay. I'm gonna duplicate it, I guess. I wonder how much of a performance hit that's gonna be. I mean, it's just a one-time thing, but... Wait, what the hell am I doing? Where's the allocator? We don't have an allocator. All right, let's bring in an allocator, I guess. The caller, well, the entries come from the ECS system, so it's like the source of truth for the rigid bodies, but since we're adding a bunch of them, it might actually get remapped, reallocated somewhere else. So if we keep this around, it might get invalidated. And yeah, that's why I want to bring in an allocator to duplicate it instead. I'm basically copying, well, I am copying like a bunch of pointers. I guess it's not, well, why am I doing that? Duplicate. I'm gonna do this. This is a trick that I learned. This feels very weird, but if the length is more than 0, I'm gonna yeah, I need an allocator as well. If the length is more than 0, it's not a like the read-only whatever slice. So I'm gonna free it. Okay. Do we have the init here as well? Well, this is not a comp time thing. This is a slice. So I don't think it's gonna get optimized away. At least I don't hope so. Yeah, so I'm setting it to the empty slice. I'm not sure which value this is gonna, you know, take, but it's gonna be, you know, you can't free this, so that's why I am checking first if the length is more than 0, because then I know that, okay, I've allocated it before, so then I free it up, and then we set it back to this. So the next time we can see, oh, the length is 0, then we don't free this read-only slice thing. Yeah, if length is 0, but isn't it only if this length is like com time known? Which is not, it's not com time known right now. It's runtime known. You can always just call free. I don't think you can call free on read only on like on this. I don't think so. But yeah, if this length were com time, I think this gets optimized away at com time. But yeah, it is not com time, so this is not gonna get optimized away, I don't think. At least, yeah, as I said, I hope so. Free still be called, but will be a no up. Huh, okay. Well, I mean, I might have remembered wrong, but yeah, maybe in the case of an empty slice. But I've had, like, you know, setting to a string. Yeah. So yeah, okay. Right. So yeah. Okay, that's correct. But I have ran into the issue before. Like if you're setting it to a read-only string or you know, a static string, then you can't free that. It becomes an error. So that's why I have this habit here. Cannot assign to a constant. Right. So let's make it not a constant. And this should also be not a constant. All right. Please work. No? Or yes? I mean, why are they red? Did I make that? Okay, I'm not gonna worry about that. Right, so it works now. Great. I mean, this should have crashed before, so I'm pretty confused about that, but okay. Yeah, so the issues was that this thing, you could, okay. So the issue, yeah, we never looked at this ever again. Like, we used it initially and, you know, we forgot about it. But now we actually need to worry about it. So we're looking at it. Let's check for leaks. No. Okay, great. And if we go in here and we try and run this now, will it work? Or crash? It might crash in another way. Oh. What's happening? This one crashes now. Oh, the collision. It's also wrong. Perhaps. Okay, this is another thing where we save those pointers to the bodies. But the collision, this happens. Where is it happening? Here, physics system, update physics. Yeah, we're doing the update here. This wasn't even in conjunction with that same issue. This is just a straight up seg fault as soon as it tries to do anything. So what I'm thinking is maybe now the things in here is wrong. Because this one we save pointers to these bodies here. They could actually be outdated, but it doesn't make sense because nothing has been invalidated yet. So I don't know. Update collisions. I could get a bunch of collisions. Now these pointers. Oh, I see. I know what the issue is. I know what it is. The issue is that we are calling this multiple times per frame, but then at the end of the frame, yeah, okay. Because we have like physics substeps. So what's happening is that here we have a bunch of physics substeps. The collision events are created using pointers in that from that list that we just created or that we duplicated. However, then we go back in here again and we deallocate it. So okay. But we could just make a I mean, we could just make like a when we start the update, we could initialize the list and then yeah, we could like this is happening several times a frame, but then we want to do I don't know what to call it, like start frame, let's say. And we will set hang on. Right, so if we don't duplicate and on reset we don't do this. Okay, so we don't duplicate. Okay, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna treat this list as a intermediate thing that's only gonna be managed in here, and the entries here, we're not gonna send in the entries. We're gonna have a function. Oops. We're gonna have a function or a entries source. Okay, this is getting more and more convoluted here, but entries source. Right, we're doing the same thing here. We're not. Yeah, we're doing it with the source. No entries source. But on reset, we don't do that. We just set entry values. Oh wait, what? But we're just setting them to the source, though. Okay, let me think about this. We're setting them. Now we don't need the allocator. So we don't need the allocator here either. We're just setting them to the source. And reset, we set it to... Okay, this doesn't make sense. Okay, I'm gonna do something stupid here. Let's remove this. I'm not going back and forth here, but deinitialize. I think we'll still do this. Okay. Reset. Yeah, this is just called by itself, so we don't need to do that because we're setting it here anyway. So actually, let's just not set it at all. Okay, and then entry values. Yeah, we're never modifying it. We're just keeping it around for some reason. Do we even need this? Is entry in tree? This is the only place we're checking it. Oh, it's only used here for like a debug thing. Okay, so maybe we'll just remove that. Is a quick way of checking, but we could just check for the key instead, right? Entry key. We don't even have like a key type here. Probably a better way to do it. I don't think we even need this. I think it was just a way to quickly see. Yeah, it was just a way to quickly see if we had the entry there. I think we just remove this because what I want is a way to. Well, we have orphaned entries as well. Now what is this? Orphaned entries value. Okay. Wait, but if we remove this, what do we actually update here? I'm confused. We have orphaned entries, we have pages. Page, somewhere we have to store the thing. We have to store like the key or something somewhere. I think I'm using the pointer as a key, perhaps. What the hell? Oh, here we go. Intersections. Perhaps. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think a better way to do this is to have a key instead, and you will sort of match by the key. I'm keeping like the pointer to the original value around. Yeah, it feels very flaky. This I'm surprised it actually worked this far. Okay, so actually, get entry. This. What if we do this? Okay, the way it works is you have a quad tree. This is the sort of the type with like the entry type. That can be anything, and then you have get entry ABB, which gets like the collision box for the entry. So you get a pointer to the entry, which gets you an ABB. But we really don't need to have this be... This doesn't need to be the rigid body. This could be just a key or the entity ID instead. Because then we can just use the register to get the body from that instead. So I'm gonna force this to be like a key type instead. And this doesn't need to be a pointer. It should be something that is able to be checked for equality and also copyable. I mean, technically you could also put a function here that it checks for equality, I guess, if you need it. Okay, let's see where we get some issues now. Enter values. Okay, let's not worry about that for now. This does not need to be a pointer. Let's call this K just to be sure. Also, we can get rid of these. That's nice. Okay, so now there's no point in having this. I'm just gonna remove this. Entry values, we don't use it, so we don't need it. Because we don't use this. Oh wait, we're using it here? Oh shit. this guy is, it's just a key. This is an index. Oh, I see. Okay, let's go back. Okay, let's actually say let's do this again. No. Here, yeah. Let's put an allocator there. And entry values. Let's also put entries. So that we can duplicate them. We don't really need it to do every... Well, maybe we do actually. Yeah, whatever. It's gonna be like happening a couple of times per frame, even though it only has to happen once each frame, but whatever. And then this is entries, yeah. It's not dup set. Okay, here we go. So we duplicate that. Where's the we put it in the initialize as well, yeah. That's fine. Reset, yeah, whatever. Fine. Because we're doing it there. Yeah, we have to do it at reset and, as well. Otherwise we get a leak. Okay, and so here we get, instead of, we're not doing this, we get a K out and we are just, you know, equaling them. That's fine. Okay, entry key. Did I rename that now? I don't remember. Alright, now we need allocator. Okay. Right. So here we just do this. And we can remove this. Let's just remove this. Okay, so now this is actually, this is an ECS entity. And this one is the key. But the thing is, we need some context as well. So we need a registry. And this is going to be the context, any opaque. So the tree. Wait. I'm gonna also put context in here, and I will save that pointer over here. Okay, and then when we call this, we're gonna get the context out there, just like the allocator implementation. Okay, and then where is it? Where is the things here? we call this, where's the, it should be here. Then we say self.registry, which is the pointer there. Okay, that's the context. And then over here, where is it? Here we say entry is, or yeah, the body is gonna be, no, the registry is gonna be pointer cast, align cast, context into a ECS registry. And now we can say body is equal to registry. Oh yeah, I think I made it the other way around because of like optimization. But yeah, I'm just gonna do it like this for now. It's better that it actually works. There might be another clever way to actually get this working, but we can get, and this will be rigid body and entities entry key, and we just return that, because now we have to go through the registry. We have to get this. This is not gonna be like a huge deal. I think this is a 01 deal. But I mean, instead of having the value directly, we have to like grab it out of a list. Well, okay, I don't know. It might not be that big of a deal. Okay, now we have a whole bunch of places here. So let's see. Now this is actually like, I guess we can call this keys anyway, but this is like the key. Don't need you to be. Okay, do we still need to do this? I don't think we really need to do this. Or maybe we do actually. No. We don't. Oh, hang on. Okay, so oh, wait, we have two contexts. And this is get entry AABB context. Okay, so this part here, I ran into this issue. I'm not sure if this is a bug or if I'm doing something wrong here. Is it because of the catch? Yeah, I think it's, yeah, it's because of the catch. Oh, yeah, so now this needs to be data instead. Expect. Okay, you don't need a mutable list. This can actually be a constant. Okay. Expected type, container. That's right. Now we get entities instead. What about the body? This is probably. Yeah, that's a pointer to. Okay, that's wrong as well. So this is like the body key. This is like the key or the entity, I guess. Yeah, that's entity. So we're gonna get the body from view and right, and then this takes not a pointer. There we go. Oops. Entry value. Oh yeah, and here we also need context. That's right. Intersections. Yeah. All right. Hello, Pollock. How's it going? Oh, yeah, I forgot to. Wait, I have Twitch thing here. Oh, thank you for the follows, Auska and Vinny New. Okay, so there we go. Why using catch unreachable, allocating functions rather than using try? Well, basically all catch unreachables here are out of memory errors. And I don't know, I just get into a habit of doing catch unreachable on out of memory errors. It's probably a really bad habit, but yeah, it's gonna make sort of the program will crash. I'm not sure if there's a way to catch it anyway, but yeah, the program's gonna crash if you get if you're out of memory, basically. Congrats on the follower goal. Yeah, thanks. It's going really good. Yeah. Basically, I took it from the Zig ECS library that also it actually forces, like, all out of memory errors, it does catch unreachable in the library. And then I just kept doing that same pattern. Because if I'm using that library, well, it's gonna crash anyway. So, I mean, you're not gonna be able to do anything, I guess, if you are out of memory. So, and then probably we could detect the crash like somehow and show some sort of error. I don't know. Let's see. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting if we could make that a better error than just everything crashing and burning. Okay, do we have anything? Okay, no more compiler errors, but it doesn't feel like, it feels like I'm missing something here. Okay, I'll just run it and try. Okay. It seems to work, although I'll bet the number of entities are lowered now, but whatever. It's not a perfect system anyway. Okay, let's see if this works. Now where's, what errors? Why do I get like errors in when I try to run the other project? Physics collision container at 145. Intersection. Collision intersection. Oh, okay, yeah, okay. Because we're not using this. So this is ECS entity. Yeah, these are all entities now. Are we benchmarking? No, I'm up. Well, I found a bug in the physics system, and basically when spawning a lot of things, the pointers get invalidated because we have to reallocate. And I have fixed this issue before, but now it showed up in a different way. So. With the collision system, so I'm fixing that. Basically, in the collision system, we stored everything as pointers to a collection of pointers that then goes into the physics vectors, and those pointers to the physics vectors had to be updated, but they weren't. So when I tried to use that data, it broke, and I didn't do that before. Yeah, I'm not. It's probably not explaining it very good here, but or it's hard to see, you know. What I'm talking about without showing here, but. Okay, I updated those types. Let's see if there's anything else going on. Okay, now destroy on touch, we get a thing here. Okay, so now this entry is not a... Wait, why does this say the wrong thing? This might be a caching issue, actually. Yeah, this is a caching issue, I think. Or is it? Yeah, it has to be. Yeah, okay, now it's entity. And now this is the thing there. So we need the intersection body. Okay. No, still something else. Okay, game input. Yeah. So everywhere we use intersection checks now is gonna have to change. No, registry get. Okay, there we go. Okay, well this is easy. We just do this and that. Oh, that's not it. There we go. Okay. Right. Okay, that's it. Oh, here's more intersections. Turns out a lot of the places we just use the key anyway. Okay. Oh, but this is the actual, okay, this, now we're in the other project. Okay, cool. Right, so this is, I think, entry type. Why is it, I guess, why is it a pointer? A pointer to entry type? Yeah, it's not a pointer to the enter type. It's this. But this is like generic over several different. This is gonna change depending on what algorithm you're using. But I guess, or maybe not actually. And this is the same thing here. Entry key. All right. And that's it. I think it was only like one place where we actually used the body. So, okay. Interesting. Well, will it actually run now? Is the question. After all that changes. Oh, my controller wasn't enabled. Oh, we get a crash. I mean, we're not gonna spawn this many things anyway. Okay. And we can see that it gets invalidated. Well, it only gets invalidated once. But after that, it actually works now. So we fixed the issue. Cool. Where is the thing happening? Collision events? Index out of bounds. Oh. Okay. Okay, so we reached kind of a cap there. That was the issue. Right. I mean, we could fix that, but we're not gonna spawn that many things. So I'm just gonna put a cap to the number of things that we spawn instead. Wait, where did I? Oh, here. Okay. Oh, that was a adventure. Thank you for the help. Let's see, I think, yeah. Anarchy 1. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Or is it Marky? Maybe. Let's see. Okay, cool. Well, back to the boss. We'll make the spawn time. Actually, we can keep it like this and have like maximum spawns. I'm gonna say, I don't know, 12 maybe. And we're just gonna count the number of those kinds of monsters in the room. Updates. Active. So here we're gonna check, okay, if, no, if is less than this. Now, if, well, yeah, then we do all this crap. All right. There we go. It's like hard mode now. No. Okay. All right. Let's see. Where's the spawn time here? Okay. There we go. All right. Max spawns. Great. Oh man, time flies. Holy shit. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to go soon here. Okay, so I totally forgot what we're doing. Yeah, this boss fight, I'm currently in the process of tweaking and adding all the faces and stuff to it. And so it's gonna have basically like two faces, two main faces. And this is first phase here where it's spawning a bunch of things. And you're basically trying to deal as much damage as you can. Then you go to phase 2. We get pushed over here. This opens up. Then you play this little half-assed mini game, and you put a boulder in the face, and it gets stunned. You deal some extra damage. Now it's woken up again, and you repeat. Yeah. And then you go into phase 2 when he's low enough on health, which is gonna be, I guess, the next time we... Okay, but I want to tweak a little bit as well, like the thing up here, like there's no challenge really to it. I want to add some more challenge to that, as well as when doing sort of this phase over here. Like, I can see 2 ways of improving it. It's like having a vulnerable spot instead of right now you can hit anywhere in this square and you will deal damage. But I'm thinking instead of having like a vulnerable spot that sort of changes position, so you have to chase it around and hit it. That's one way. Or another way would be to have the whole thing vulnerable, but have like a melee retaliate attack. There's sort of like an arm or something that swipes out like this, so you can sort of telegraph, okay, now it swipes, so you have to back off and attack. I don't know, something like that, just to make this part a little bit more interesting. And then here is like phase 2, so it's supposed to sort of fly around now. But and then also for this part, like having this more interesting as well. Maybe have like things falling down, so you sort of cancel the thing, or I don't know. I'm gonna have to figure that out. But yeah, we made a lot of progress this time, and yeah, I think I'm gonna call it there for now. So yeah, that's gonna be it for this time. Like okay, so last time I got raided, I was in a bit of a hurry to quit, so I didn't really send the viewers anywhere, but I guess I could raid someone. I don't know, I've never done it. I'm really new at this. I mean, yeah, thank you very much for joining, and stuff. How do I do this? What, game development, maybe? Oops. I'm not sure how easy it is to find a Zig stream. I'm just gonna pick something here. Alright, come play in your browser. That sounds cool. How do I do this? Can I like raid? How do you raid? I thought this would be easy to figure out. Hmm. Like, I don't see a big button anywhere that says raid. Maybe I can't raid actually. Maybe I'm too new at this. I can't raid. Okay, well we'll call it that. You have to go figure out something to watch. But thanks very much for joining. And thanks for all the follows. Right. Alright, that's gonna be it for this time. So have a nice day, and I'll see you later.